Hi, everybody, and good evening. My name is Heidi Schnitker, and I am the Strategic Account Manager for Ontario and Manitoba for Blow Stewart Travel. So, welcome this evening to our presentation. And I'm going to talk a little bit about Insight Vacations and, of course, some of the destinations that we do visit. So, let's get started. So, as I said, my name is Heidi Schnitker. I'm a Strategic Account Manager for Ontario and Manitoba. And I have been traveling in style with Insight Vacations since 2008. So I'm very thrilled to be part of this presentation tonight to show you all about Insight Vacations. So I'm actually going to talk about a couple of different itineraries that are our best sellers. The first one, of course, is Undiscovered Ireland. And it was one of our very new itineraries that was launched a couple of years ago. And it covers the true depth and breadth of Ireland, including the Wild Atlantic Way, which is just beautiful. And especially at this time of year, they're starting to get spring. So it's a really great time to go. Um, Ireland is usually very popular in the months of late April, May, June, and then, of course, in September and October. It does get busy during the months of July and August, but they are still two great months to travel. And the spectacular Country Roads itinerary that we have really covers that whole coast of Ireland with some truly unique Irish highlights. So on our first night, you can relax and settle into the hotel that we have on this itinerary, or perhaps head for the nearby Bunratty Castle and Folk Park. Now, Bunratty Castle is right next door to the hotel, and it was built in the 15th century, and it's actually the most complete and authentic castle in Ireland. We continue then to Galway via the Cliffs of Moher Visitor Centre, where you can enjoy breathtaking views of the Clare shoreline and the Atlantic Ocean. And in Galway, the City of Tribes, we meet an expert for a local view of the city before we have a really delicious included lunch. And then we're off to Westport and through to the Wild Atlantic Way. And we explore Westport the next day, where we actually get to choose between two different choices of excursions. So what we do at Insight Vacations is sometimes incorporated into our journeys. What we have is something called the Insight Choice. And an Insight Choice is something that we offer as part of the itinerary. It's included in the cost, but it just gives you a chance to decide what it is that you want to do on that day. And for this one specifically, we can choose between joining a local expert foodie to take a culinary walk through town, or and they can sample, you can sample the best artisan dishes, craft beers, spirits, or alternatively, you can travel to Ballycroy National Park for a nature walk through the lush countryside with panoramic views of Achill Island and Neffenbeg mountain range. So two great choices, sometimes very hard to choose between the two. Um, I would probably opt for the local expert foodie journey. And then maybe coming back the second time around, you do Ballycroy National Park. So there's lots of options. And as we continue our travels, we actually visit the historic Lissadell Estate, which is the childhood home of Irish revolutionary Constance Markievicz, who actually went on to become the first Irish cabinet minister. And at this particular home, which is great, we actually enjoy afternoon tea and scones with the new owners of the property. So one of the things that makes this itinerary really unique is the chance to have a whole day at leisure at a unique property. The Carlton House Hotel, where we stay, is actually a luxury property. And the first record of a house at Carlton was in the 17th century, but the history spans like 8 centuries. There are lots of options to enjoy the estate, including visiting the estate grounds to look out for rare birds, or maybe you can take your chance at fishing, maybe play around at golf, or pamper yourself at the spa. The other option is with the services of our fantastic travel director, you can actually arrange transfers into Dublin, which is actually only about 20 kilometers away. So the next stop is Powerscourt House in the foothills of the Wicklow Mountains, where you join a gardener for a walk through one of the world's greatest estates. And then we have our next stop, which is Glendalough, where a local expert takes you on a walk in the valley of the two lakes. And then we continue on to Kilkenny in the evening, where your travel director will show you the medieval city with its majestic castle and, of course, the river walk. So my next favorite of this particular journey is Kilkenny. And we actually, in Kilkenny, we learn about how this town holds a long history for Ireland's national sport, which is called hurling. Um, it can get pretty rough when they are playing on the national team. If anybody's been to Scotland, you know that in Scotland they have their own version called shinty. In England, of course, there is field hockey, which is a little bit more of a ladies' sport. Um, I kind of grew up playing field hockey, which was quite interesting. But in Kilkenny, we actually made a former player to gain an exciting insight into, of course, this unique Irish cultural experience. And if you're willing and you feel like you want to have a little bit of running around, blow the cobwebs, you can actually get into teams and actually you can play each other, which is quite exciting. And then at night, we actually enjoy a pub dinner where local musicians entertain you in true Irish tradition. And as we continue to Kinsale, we actually stop at the famous Blarney Castle, where they do say that the kissing the Blarney Stone will give you the gift of eloquence. I have been up to the Blarney Stone and I have kissed the Blarney Stone, and there's a very nice man that will hold you upside down in order to kiss this Blarney Stone. But I will warn you, please take your change out of your pockets because it will drop to the floor. And there's usually a couple of people down there willing to take that change if you don't clear your pockets, but it's quite an experience. And then we traveled on, of course, to Kinsale, where we see the memorial to the crew of the RMS Lusitania and the ruins of Downpatrick Castle, followed by a really sumptuous, fresh seafood dinner. So our last full day, we actually travel across county to Micklestone Caves, and a local expert actually takes us through this gigantic maze of passageways and caverns and awe-inspiring cave formations, and we learn about the history and the geology of the cave. And then our last night is in Adair, which is Ireland's prettiest village, where we can walk around among the thatched cottages like the one that you see here. And then the last night, we actually have a celebration dinner with all of our fellow travelers where we can toast our travels and our memories made throughout this entire journey. So, a really exciting itinerary. We do have quite a few different Ireland itineraries. By far, this one does take in the true depth and breadth of Ireland. And it's definitely one of my favorites. And I've been to Ireland twice in my journeys, and I could easily go back again in a heartbeat. So the next one I'm going to talk about is our country roads of Portugal. And Portugal's become incredibly popular for people traveling in 2022 and, of course, requesting for 2023. Some of our top selling journeys are, of course, anything to do with the United Kingdom, Spain, Portugal. We do actually have quite a few people that have chosen to do Christmas market journeys, which we do have as well available from November onwards. And then another one of our favorites that's being booked right now is Egypt, and a lot of requests coming in for Egypt for 2023. So we do have a lot of people booking right now, which is fantastic. And I'm sure that there's some of you out there that are looking at booking something or inquiring about a journey that might be happening either during the summertime or in the fall or even into 2023. So I do encourage you to look into that when you can. Space is definitely at a premium because we do have a lot of people booking from around the world. So don't miss out on your opportunity to get your date that you may want. So let's talk about Portugal, which again, beautiful country and lots of great things and highlights to see. And it's really an eye-popping place to visit. Lots of eye-popping scenery, rich culture, friendly locals, really in comfort and style. And this 11-day itinerary starts and ends in Lisbon, and we travel the full length of Portugal, visiting Porto and Fatima, and of course capturing the scenery of the Douro Valley and the well-known Algarve. So, of course, we start off in Lisbon, and one of the most memorable highlights of this journey includes visiting the Belém Quarter, and we actually get to enjoy the beautiful pastéis de Belém. So if anybody's had a Portuguese custard tart, here in Canada, I know there's some great bakeries, especially in my local neighborhood in Toronto, that make some great pastéis de Belém. But we actually visit the patisserie that has been using the same secret recipe for over 200 years. So really take your time to taste 1, 2, 5 while you're there with your travel director. And we do actually have people that purchase a box and bring them home, which is, really nice to have reflecting over your journey. And then our first magical stop, of course, after Lisbon is the Algarve, where we have a chance to soak up the resort that we're staying at and really enjoy the whole 360 acres of it. The Algarve is very popular with a lot of British tourists. It is definitely a beautiful part of Portugal if you're looking to get some sun and appreciate the beach. And then, of course, after traveling on to Evora, we meet a local expert where we get to admire the Roman temple and visit an extraordinary 17th century chapel. And then from Evora, we traveled to the striking village of Moncherez, which is surrounded by olive groves and vineyards. And we actually join a local boat captain for a leisurely cruise on the tranquil waters of Lake Alclavera. And we relax and enjoy calming waters, picturesque views, and tales, of course, river life. We sit down to a delicious lunch at a local restaurant, which is called Semfim, and it was once an olive mill. And you can enjoy a wide range of tasty tapas dishes that really showcase the local cuisine and soak up that vibrant, cheerful atmosphere. So then we are on to Tomar, which is where we visit one of Portugal's historical jewels, which is the Templar Castle and the Convent of Christ, which is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, while we gain an insight into the history from one of our fantastic local experts. So Coimbra, of course, is another gem where we see the highlights of the old town. And here we actually enjoy a fresh farm-to-table dinner, which has been freshly prepared from locally sourced ingredients at the Quinta da Roda, which is renowned as the jewel of the Douro, which is at home, of course, to one of the most distinguished port houses. And of course, Portugal is very famous for its port. So Porto is Portugal's second city, a World Heritage town, and where Portugal originates, where we are introduced to another insight choice. And the choice for the insight choice is you can choose between joining a local expert for a walk to visit the São Bento railway station and walk on the Dom Luís Bridge, or you can join your local expert and they can show you the Clérigos Tower, the beaches along the Atlantic coast, the mouth of the Douro, and of course the main Liberdade Square. And then in the evening, we have some time at leisure, so you can enjoy your 5-star boutique hotel, which is the Pousada de Porto, and in the heart of Porto's historic district. So really, with so much to see and do on this itinerary, you will come back feeling like you were fully immersed in the culture, of course, through the food and the people. So 2 fantastic itineraries out of the 70 countries we visit and over 100 itineraries that we have on the books. Lots to choose from, but really, why is guided the way to go? And I wanted just to kind of brief you a little bit on about what makes Insight Vacations so different from everybody else. Well, one, it's a protective travel bubble. With the news yesterday, of course, that PCR testing has been dropped, replaced with a rapid antigen test in destination. Of course, that alleviates some worry coming back to Canada, and I'm sure that there's going to be more advances coming in the next couple of weeks. We'll just have to watch the news. But one of the things that we do pride ourselves on is that you do have a protective travel bubble. So when you do visit with Insight Vacations, it is a guided vacation. From the moment that you leave the airplane and you meet your travel director and coach, your baggage is taken care of, so portage is included. All you have to do is wait for it at the door of your hotel because it'll come to your room and you will have your suitcase there. And then, of course, the next day it gets loaded onto the coach for you, or maybe 2 days later, 3 days later, depending on how many nights you're staying in destination, but you never have to lift a finger. And you're with the same people from start to finish. And our groups are definitely a smaller size in comparison to a lot of other companies out there. And we do have a lot of really good trusted partners. Now, Insight Vacations is part of the Travel Corporation, which is a family-owned, family-run company, which has been in business for over 100 years. And during that 100 years, we have really gotten to know some of our partners that we have in the business, whether it's hotels or restaurateurs, um, or some of our local experts, and of course our trusted travel directors, and they all have exceptional standards that we make sure that they adhere to, because we have exceptional standards when we are traveling with clients like yourselves. And really, you can just relax and enjoy the ride. So one of the big things about our coaches is the fact that it is double the leg room and double the panoramic view. So double the leg room compared to other companies out there. So of course, it is a luxury uh, coach that we do have, that we take on our journeys, and you do get to just sit back and enjoy the ride. We have, of course, our fantastic diligent driver that keeps the coach spotless, and then of course we have our travel director, and on top of that, of course, we now have what we call a well-being director. And it really is easy to keep your distance, because we do have, as I said, smaller groups than some others out there. So it is easy to appreciate that travel bubble, but also make sure that you do have a safe distance between you and maybe one of the other couples or people that are traveling with you, traveling on this particular journey. And then, as I said, we do have a new well-being director on our journeys, in conjunction with our travel director and our diligent driver. And they really are there to devote themselves to your comfort and your peace of mind. They are there to make sure that if you have any questions about your well-being, and just to make sure everything operates as smoothly as possible, so that way the travel director is freed up for all of those questions that you may have about the journey, or where to buy the next souvenir, or where to get the best ice cream, and also just to really make this journey fun, hassle-free, and stress-free. So, talking a little bit about traveling your way, we actually have smaller group sizes. And on our journeys, what we do have a difference between, we have our classic group size and our small group size. And our classic group size is a maximum of 40 on our coaches, which of course have the double the legroom and double the panoramic view. But on average, we have about 33 passengers per itinerary. Varies between 30 and 33. So if you think about a 40-seater coach, you do have a lot of space on those coaches to just sit back and relax. We also have other journeys where we do have a maximum of 24 people. So if you look at an itinerary, for example, for Ireland, or if you're looking at an itinerary for Portugal, some dates will be small groups and some dates will be classic group size. So small group size, of course, again, 24 maximum. We usually carry an average of anywhere between 16 and 20 people, and that is still using the same luxury coach. So one of the things that we do pride ourselves on is that we are part of a company called Treadright, that was founded by Insight Vacations over 12 years ago, where we do connect travelers like yourselves to the people, wildlife, and the planet. And a lot of our journeys going forward will have what we call a Make Travel Matter experience on our journey, to really support the Sustainable Development Goals that the UN has put in place. And we actually meet 11 of the 15 Sustainable Development Goals on our journeys. And we do make sure that we do include at least one Make Travel Matter experience on our journeys going forward. So one of the ones I wanted to quickly talk about before I move towards wrapping up is our flamenco school. So when we are in Spain, we visit Seville. And usually when you go to Spain, you would love to see a flamenco show, be entertained. It's something that we've done for years. It's something that other companies have done for years as well. So what we have done in the last year we have really worked with Treadright, which is, of course, the company that does all of these Make Travel Matter experiences underneath our parent company. And we found a flamenco school, and the flamenco school is in Seville, and they teach flamenco dancing, and they teach guitar and they teach singing to all of the people within that area or people that come from all over the place to learn about this art to really keep it alive and keep this culture alive. And so we visit the school. We take a group of people like yourselves on our journey in Spain, and we go to Seville and we visit the school. We meet the teacher, we meet the students. They show us a little demonstration about what it is that they're learning. And then if you're brave enough, you can get up and learn how to do a little bit of flamenco dancing. And then we leave for a little bit of free time in the afternoon and we come back in the evening and we get to meet again the students and they put on this fantastic show for us, which is just beautiful and simply amazing because you can truly see the passion in what they have learned and how grateful they are. And one of the things that we do with these Make Travel Matter experiences is we help sustain the places that we visit. And one of the things that we do with this particular school is we provide 4 grants a year to the students so that they are able to continue learning about this incredible culture and incredible um, just art that they really want to keep alive and continue on for years and years to come. So it's really, really special. I do encourage you that if you do go to Spain, uh, pick one of the itineraries where we do have this on, and you can talk to your travel advisor and they'll be able to point you in the right direction. But as I said, most of the itineraries going forward now in 2022 and 2023 will have at least one Make Travel Matter experience on the itinerary. So really, I just wanted to reiterate that we do keep the guests, such as yourselves, and of course our team well-being as top priority. And we do have a really comprehensive well-being approach. Of course, we have our always on support team, which of course is our diligent driver and our travel director and our well-being director. And we do have the hygiene protocols and distancing that we keep in place, whether it be the diligent driver that constantly wipes down the coach to making sure everybody's wearing their masks or sanitizing when they get on the coach. And of course, the well-being director that's making sure everybody is being physically distant, just not socially distant, because we want you to have a good time. Um, and then, of course, we have our 24/7 incident response team that's behind the scenes just in case anybody falls ill or if there's any questions that we need answering while we're on the road. So one of the great things about this is as a thank you for joining, um, you can enjoy a savings of $100 a person on any Insight Vacations trip. And of course, you do need to book that within the next week. And it's for any journey over 7 days or longer. So we do have a savings for joining tonight of $100 a person. So just reach out to your travel advisor with Blow Stewart Travel and they'll be able to help you take that $100 off your next journey. And as I wrap up, I just wanted to say thank you for joining me this evening. I hope that you have many questions for your travel advisor in regards to the next journey that you want to take with Insight Vacations. And if they have any questions, they can always reach out to me. But again, thank you. I hope that I hear about your journeys in the next year or two. And I really wish you a wonderful evening and thank you for joining me this evening. Bye-bye.